Hey, what's going on, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you an energy update for tonight's full moon happening January 6th, the first full moon of the year. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you three very distinct themes that a lot of people are experiencing right now, and also help you navigate them and get the most out of them. Because this full moon is literally, no pun intended, but beaming with potential for you to step into your power and your purpose and this new level of yourself that's trying to come through like never before. It's a very, very accelerated and charged time right now, and I'm very excited to get into the reading. But real quick, before I do want to let you know I'm opening, as of today also, my first retreat of the year. It's going to take place in Austin, Texas from it's April 15th through the 18th. There's information down below. There's room for 23 spots, and the whole main theme of this retreat is helping people step fully into their life purpose, dissolve some of the blockages that tend to come up as we get to the really ripe to truly step into our power. And that's the primary intention. I've never done a retreat with this theme before. If you're interested, link down below, check it out. And with that said, my friends, great to have you here. I will go ahead now and get into the video. Theme number one, you might feel highly sensitive and easily and frequently triggered by life. I was discussing this with my buddy Aaron last night actually, and we were talking about how he was sort of, the way he put it was like he's almost walking on eggshells because he's just kind of waiting for the ball to drop. Because the balls have been dropping, life has been provoking him, prodding him, bringing, conjuring, summoning up to the surface all the unresolved stuff, getting in the way of us really living in our potential. A lot of times when we're on the brink of up-leveling ourselves in some way and stepping into not only a new chapter of life, but a really new identity and version of ourselves. As we're ready for this like butterfly-like metamorphosis, we are confronted by a lot of these yet to be dissolved blockages. And I know a lot of you have been saying, you're like, dude, I've been doing the work. When's the healing going to be done? Well, I don't have an answer for you, but I do know healing will accelerate as you are close to stepping into this new version of yourself. And even though it is, I agree, completely uncomfortable, unpleasant, like, when's this freaking full moon gonna pass by because I'm done with this? I wanna just relax and not be so high strung and so, consumed with all the inner work being kind of demanded by me. You might really start to see just how your unresolved issues are messing with your life, stressing you out, a lot of times very unnecessarily. You might be just very, very aware, and that's why we're triggered. Being triggered, having something sort of play out in our life that catches us off guard and pings our emotional pain body. It's unpleasant, but it's indicative of a new level of consciousness, a new level of awareness. And once you get beyond that initial emotional trigger and whatever circumstance seemed to provoke it, there's release, there's freedom, there's healing, there's insights, there's an uncovering of more of yourself. So I invite you to just be patient with yourself at this time, and not to, so many people, they feel like they're regressing spiritually when they're not walking through life in like a perfect Zen-like manner. But in my experience, the people who truly have a pleasant, authentic presence about them are people that are doing a lot of inner work and don't have it together every single day of their life, and are willing to look at themselves, willing to admit they're having a bad day. It's okay. It's these bad days that bring us higher in life. And if you can take responsibility, take ownership for the emotions coming up in your system and not blame them on this person and what they said, or the fact that your boss did this, or whatever's going on in your life, It's not about that. Regardless, you attracted that into your life anyway because you're a powerful creator. And if you can own that and take responsibility for your own emotional state and even go deeper and inquire as to why is this here? Why am I reacting this way? Why am I feeling this way? You can get so much inner work done. And all the different things and themes that are particular to you and your situation that are going to come up. Maybe for you it's about feeling safe. Maybe it's about your abundance blocks. Maybe it's about your love blocks. Whatever it is, it's like very relevant to this next step of your journey, this next evolutionary leap of you. Number 2, quite simply, is letting go. A lot of times we do have to close some doors in our life circumstance to allow new ones to open and just create space, to create space in our life to see what Spirit has in store. You might have this feeling, this sensing that there is something new and deep wanting to come through, wanting to be birthed into your life, this new evolution of yourself. But you might not have the clarity about it. You don't feel like you have the momentum. Some of you don't know what it is. Some of you do know what it is, but you don't feel like you're making any progress. A lot of times, the next logical step, and you'll know it if it's you, is to let go of something that's occupying too much of your time, too much of your energy, too much of your focus. I had a very strong insight yesterday on a microdose. I did some inner work myself, and what came up for me was a lot deeper of an experience than I was anticipating for yesterday morning. But I realized, and what was brought to my attention, is that my soul's calling right now is to write a book. And you all know that, most of you that have been following me. But most of my creative energy is being kind of dispersed in a very scattered, fragmented way, trying to create tons of content for Instagram and all my different social media accounts. I have a certain amount of energy and it's not being used wisely. And this next version of me requires putting most of it in one streamlined direction to really bring out this birthing process of what my soul kind of seems like it wants to do with me in my life right now. And I'm realizing I have to let go. And then as I was having my experience yesterday, I realized why I have trouble letting go. Now I'm just going to confess it to you. When I was younger, I was hit by a firecracker. And it was a very traumatic experience. I went into shock immediately. Was badly burned and spent weeks in the hospital, went through multiple surgeries. But what really was traumatizing for me, because to this day I went into shock. I don't have a memory of it. I talk about it like it was a movie. But what did stick with me is the scars on my body. And at a young age, I came to this conclusion that I'm scarred for life. Literally, I kind of am. But that was like my mentality, and I felt like I'm damaged. And ever since that point, I've been needing to compensate for that. And it became very clear to me that I do that through my social media accounts. That's why I need to keep doing them, because without all this external validation, I'm not enough. But anyway, regardless of this little side story, it's time for me to do my purpose, which is to write a book. That's authentic, that's real, that's in my soul. And this stuff has got to be cleared away. I have to let go of my distractions. But again, my distractions are very deeply rooted in my trauma. And this full moon is so powerful. I share all this not just to bore you with my story, but to let you know that all of these energy updates I do and have ever done are literally just sort of a explanation of what I'm going through. So you might have your own type of deep insight as to why you're not on track, why you have been distracting yourself or not really committing to this new path that is calling you at this time. So it's about letting go. And it's one of the hardest things to do. Even when you know, when you know all of what you know, even when you have all the insights, it's still hard to do because it might be habitual. But here's what has happened even since yesterday in choosing to chill out on all my different social media accounts. And you're going to see that, with the exception of YouTube, I will share when I feel inspired. But once I woke up last night at 3 in the morning, just filled with ideas and just bursting with inspiration and insights and ideas about how I can like reorganize my life. And it feels so real and so perfectly fitting. And that is an example of what happens when we let go of something we think our mind insists we need. Your soul knows, your intuition knows, and when you finally trust it, you will be supported a lot of times with just smart ideas that come to you, sometimes immediately after you finally make that choice to let go of what's holding you back. And theme number 3 is trust, faith. That when you follow your heart, you will, even if you can't foresee, you will be supported by life. I was listening last night to Bashar. He's one of my favorite, maybe the only channeler really I listen to these days. He was talking about how synchronicity, you know, when the perfect timing, how magic sometimes sort of happens in our life. And Bashar was like, well, good. It's how life functions. It's how life actually is. And a lot of us are just becoming aware that life is like that. It's not this cruel, random existence that it can oftentimes seem like we're living in. There's an undercurrent of benevolence. There's an undercurrent of guidance and divinity. And we really are these eternal souls creating these earthly experiences. It's not a random thing. And I say that because that fact becomes very evident, at least it has for me and many I've witnessed, when we really step into our purpose, when we really live our life per the guidance of our own soul, of our own intuition. And it's not easy because sometimes your intuition invites you to do things that don't seem like they make much sense. And you can't see how it's going to work out, but it does. It always does. Many of you, if you've been watching me on YouTube, you've seen my journey. My very first videos when I was back in like Michigan, 5-6 years ago, had this nice cozy house, and then eventually I started to talk about how I'm going to be moving into a little RV, and we sold our home. I cut off my income sources. I quit my jobs, and I had like no logical way to support myself and my family financially, literally. And somehow we always had enough. We always had what we needed. And it also taught me how relative everything is. We had to, for most people's eyes, we went from a good life into extreme poverty, extreme credit card debt. And yet, what I found is that the contrast wasn't as intense as you might suspect. Initially it was. Getting rid of like 90% of our belongings and smashing our little big family into a 21-foot travel trailer. I had one little cubby for my clothes. I had like 3 black shirts, 3 white t-shirts, and they were like $5 a piece from H&M, and a couple of pair of like jogger pants, and I had my little Kindle. I had like nothing. My family had very little. But you know what? In the end, it was kind of the same. We found ourselves laughing and hanging out around the little dinner table, and our interactions, our degree of happiness and peace, and our sense of safety, and all these things that we associate with our externals was all about the same, if not actually enhanced, quite honestly, because we are finally living authentically. So the point is, I just say, you might be feeling this intuitively, that you can trust your intuition fully and always. It's always got your back. It will align you with little miracles, mini miracles, to support you and give you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, so that you can really bring forth this magic your soul knows you have. And that's why it's trying to summon it up in your consciousness now and inviting you to take a leap of faith and bring it into fruition in some way, shape, or form. Is because there's something there. And that something also knows how to guide you through the transition that you might be dreading, you might be afraid to take. You're never alone. You're always guided with your own inspirations. But you do have to let go of the things that you know are not for you, even if they once were. You have to allow yourself to transform. You have to not resist the triggers, not resist the power of the full moon so much. It's helping you become more conscious and whole. It's helping you finally achieve your true divine potential. And that's the potential of this full moon. That's why I'm so excited. That's why I decided to do an impromptu message for you right here and now on the day, because I wasn't planning on doing it, honestly, per what I was saying previously about stepping back, but I wanted to really get this message out to you in case it will resonate with some of you. And if so, then I'm happy. Anyways, my friends, again, reminder about the retreat. If you've missed that, there's a link down below, 23 spots, Austin, Texas, this spring. I'd love to have you. If not, it's totally cool. I'll be seeing you from time to time on YouTube. Much love, my friends. Peace.